How did the podcast come about? Because I watched the podcast.
In all honesty,
was that COVID?
In all honesty, the pandemic. Really, I mean, we had talked always about doing a podcast. When he had a podcast back in the day.
I remember I did it down in Marina Del Rey, or they were down in Redondo.
Yeah, Redondo.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, he did one.
Just audio.
To do one even before that, just audio, and he would do it at the Ice House.
Oh yeah.
And so
he was in on it early, huh?
Oh yeah, he's been on very early.
Him.
And so he said to me, we were fantasizing in front of his wife about if we were a gay couple, and I said, what's one thing if we were gay? What's one thing you'd want to do? He said, I'd cut all your food. I was like, I don't think I'd like that. And he's like, hear me out. You love food, right? And I'm like, okay. And he's like, and if you're gay, you love. And I go, your mass adding up. And he goes, then you'd love your food. I was like, fuck. And he goes, what's the one thing you do? And I go, I'd get home, I'd fling the door open, and then I'd go, you got to the count of 10 before I hold you down and you. And then you get to hide until 10, and then I'd find you and I'd hold you down and he goes, I don't think that's how gay guys do it. I go, that's how I do it. And we just kept going back and forth about if we were gay, and we said we should start a podcast called Two Bears, One Cave. It's right around Two Girls, One Cup.
Yeah.
And then one day he goes, do you want to try doing it? And I was like, yeah. We tried doing it.
Did he already move?
No.
He's still in LA at this point.
Right before the pandemic started.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And then we were doing 1 a month or 2 a month because we didn't have time for it.
Yeah.
And then when the pandemic started, we doubled down, and then we doubled down and we had no one to talk to. That was the important part of why that podcast was good. Is we weren't talking to anyone and we weren't doing stand up. So any bit we had went right to. So like I'd come in with like a bit I'd been working on, and we'd workshop it together, and then people were falling in love with the podcast. And then we had like 2 or 3 viral
Hawaiian
clips.
Punch.
Kool-Aid was like Kool-Aid was a big one.
No, it was Hawaiian Punch, I thought.
No, it's Kool-Aid. It's definitely
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
No, you're right.
I drink a gallon of it every day. When he found out I drank Kool-Aid, that and Jennifer Aniston are the two hardest we've laughed. Where we were still laughing.
Wait, I've seen the Jennifer Aniston, but I forgot. What was it?
He lied to me and said he got to meet Jennifer Aniston. And he knows I have a weird thing about, I get impressed. He doesn't care about celebrities. I get impressed with celebrities.
Me too.
I get really impressed with celebrities. And so I go, hold on, you didn't offer to bring me? And he was like, well, no. And then he tells me this story. At the end, he goes, it's a lie. And I go, you motherfucker. I go, you got to make a promise. If you ever get to meet Jennifer Aniston, now you definitely have to take me.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay. He goes, well, we should reach out, see if we can meet her. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, do we bring our wives? And he's like, no, I'm not bringing our wives. I go, can she bring someone? And he goes, for safety. And then he very quickly goes, maybe that's not the message we want to send. And I couldn't stop laughing because I kept hearing him going, for safety. There was like 4 or 5 of those where he would say the thing and I couldn't stop laughing. He made me fall out of a chair laughing one time because the way he talks makes me laugh. Like the way he talks. What did he say on the conference call today? Where he just goes.
He's so dry.
What did he say on the conference call today that we were all and we were like, he's like, yeah, next or whatever. He just.
You wanted to call your brand something.
You wanted to call your brand something.
We can't get into it.
Right.
We had a conference call today. And he was like, all right, everyone grab a pencil. Bert's getting ready to talk. And it was just like, But it's like, he makes me laugh so hard. And that's why the reason when I did The Machine, the first thing I said to our producer, Kale, I got to do a movie with Tom. Yeah. Because now that I know what makes, I want you to do a movie, you go.
Yeah, what'd you learn from doing the movie?
I learned I'm really good when I fail.
You what?
I'm really good when I fail on screen. When I
Tell
fail,
me about that. What does that mean?
Like me in panic and failure is a very natural. I don't have to act, and I can show emotion really quickly.
Real.
Like in Yen, so Secret Time, spoiler alert, but like the punch.
Yep.
That
scene killed when we saw
it. Murdered in the thing. The shot.
The shot's great.
The look, like when I fail, I'm really the fall down the stairs. The kip up, the failure in the fight, like all the times I fail, I'm really I excel. And so I go
secret.
I go, now that I know that, I go I will focus on making sure there's a good physical failure in every Like just making sure,
Yeah.
and then taking it to the next level, like the throw up, the fucking taking the thing out of her leg.
Yep.
And so I go, okay, so I know where I'm at, and I know that I can do some like emotional too, so I can ground it a little bit. I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah.
But I know what makes Tom funny, and so what's the best part of it, and when you're making a movie like this, is it is a little bit of a collaboration. You have a director and a producer and a group of people in the tent watching takes.
Yeah.
But I don't need to be in the tent. I'll be with him doing the takes, and so I will be able to go to him. Hey, you know what you should do?
Right.
As a friend, we collaborate like that in podcasts.
Yeah.
But I'll be able to get to see. So like his strengths are going to be through the roof.
Yeah.
He's going to murder this movie because I'm his best friend, and I've already been through the process of like. I'll give you an example. In the movie, I'm in the tent, and they bring out college Igor, and they go, "This is Igor. He's a bandit. He's a very bad person. You don't want to talk to him." And he's sitting like this, chewing gum. And that was the take. And I went over to him. He's a great actor named Marco. And I partied at my house with him. I knew the guy.
Yeah.
Like we were good. We were friends.
Is he American?
No, he's Serbian.
Serbian, yeah.
And I said, "Hey Marco, just for one of the takes, can you do like just like you're trying to scare a baby?
Yeah.
Like you're trying to scare a baby and then go back to serious Igor?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think so." And he was like what? And I was like, like you're like ooh, and then go back. And so the take that they use is he's doing this, and he's like, "This is Igor. He's a very scary banditi. Do not talk to them." And he looks around, and he goes, "Ooh," and then he goes back like this. Yeah. And it was just a real.
They use
subtle,
that take.
Yeah, they use the take, and it kills in the movie. And I was like, that's the cool thing is like, I bet how fun would it be to work with to have worked with Kevin Hart as Dwayne Johnson and have that friendship and go dude, that was good, man. Do more of that. Like that collaboration.
Yeah.
Or imagine Spade and Farley where they're just trying to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
And in doing that, you get the funniest movie in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cool thing I would like to do about a buddy comedy.
Yes, so you're working on that because I would love to see that. With that, I know it's great because even when you just tell me stories about Tom, I laugh because I watch the podcast and I know the relationship. It's already built in. It's so good.
But there's so much one of the things that I think, that.
Isn't that fun to find that? To find that like lightning in a bottle. Like you mentioned Cross and Odenkirk, but to find that with Tom, is there anything better?
No, there's no. I will tell you this. Obviously, me and Leanne's relationship's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I feel very lucky to have gotten her in life.
Yeah.
Like I feel very lucky that I'm still sexually attracted to her, and we're both in our 50s.
So great.
And that she makes me giggle, and she's still surprising me, surprising me.
Yeah.
At times where I go, who is it? Like, what the And she's blossoming because the girls are leaving now, and she's finding her own footing.
She has her own podcast.
She has her own podcast.
What's it called?
Wife of the Party.
Wife of the Party, right.
And she's running Birdie Boy Productions. She's a
she had a producer on the movie.
She's a producer on the movie. She was
a producer on your stand-up special.
Yeah, she just produced Shane Torres's stand-up special.
Oh, really?
She's really good at she's really good at being honest is really the answer. Like she's good at being honest. And so she's great in an edit for a special. She's edited all my specials.
Really?
She helped edit the cabin. So she's really great at that. And so to watch her do that, I will say that I feel just as lucky, and this sounds crazy, to have found Tom, because you don't get creative partners that that you can talk things out with of just comedy ideas or business ideas or you don't get that often. You get one every now and then.
He's your closest, right?
Yeah, and dude, he has been so wise. I can't even get into detail because I think there are times things in this business that I'm drawn towards, and Tom will be like, "Hey, stop," and I'll be like, "Really?" He's like, "That's not the direction you want to go in."
Right.
And I'm like, "Boo!" Like theoretically, like the monkey boy on a radio show, the third mic that breaks bottles over his head. That's
pay you a lot of money.
That's my energy. And Tom will be like, "Whoa!" I'll give you a perfect example. This is a perfect example. They offered me the Man Show a long time ago.
Really?
And they
With who?
They said pick your guest
No kidding.
and pick your host. And so
Remember
I
you had the knockoff man show?
I did.
Remember?
I think your ex-wife produced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it called?
The X Show.
X Show.
And so then, like 10 years later, I get a call from the people who own the Man Show, and they're like, "We want you to do the Man Show." And I'm like, "Done." I don't know if I was at Travel Channel at the time, but I was like, it was carved out of my deal. I was like, "Fuck yeah, done." Comedy Central, the boys back, and I called Tom, and I was like, "Hey, I got an offer to do a Man Show. I can pick my guest. I want you to do it with me." And he was like, "Nope." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I think that's the wrong move. I think it's the wrong move for you."
So
and
wise.
I said, "Why?" And he goes, "It's not our show. We could just do our own show. Like, why would we do their show? That's Jimmy and Adam's show." And he goes, and then it's Doug and Joe's show.
Right.
And we don't want to be the third ones.
Yeah.
The third one's putting that condom on. And I was like, that's a good analogy. And he was like, let's just do our own show.
Right.
And then I was like, well, what's our show? And he goes, I don't know, but we're in no rush. Like, we can figure it out. And it ended up being Two Bears.
Yeah.
And I will say this, it is such a better branded show for us because it's very light lifting. It's just us hanging out.
Yep.